Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel. This is GED Math with Mr. Leo. Today, we're going to do a short lesson answering the question, what is all the fuss about pi? What is pi? You hear about it. I bet you can tell me a number that we use for it. But really, what is the deal with pi? Let's get into it. Okay, so pi is one of the most famous numbers in math. It is a special irrational number used with circles. Okay, now you guys might be able to tell me pi is equal to approximately 3.14, but why? Where does that come from? And who made that up? Tell me right now, take a second. Who invented pi? Do you know? Well, I've had some students say, oh, was it Einstein? Was it Pythagoras? Well, if you're a religious person, you would say that God invented pi. If you're not religious, you could say no one invented pi. It is part of the fabric of the universe. Pi is a very special number that is found in circles. I'm going to show you right now where it comes from. You see this circle on my screen right here? Now, imagine I had a diameter. A diameter is the distance across the circle. All right, whatever that diameter is. Now, imagine I took that diameter and I bent it around the circle. How many of these diameter lengths would it take to complete the outside of the circle? Well, think about it. Is it 2? Is it 4? I'm going to show you. Let's say we start right here. And that first diameter, if I bent it, it would get me just about this far. It wouldn't go all the way across because if I bent it, it's not going to make it quite as far. It'd go to about here. We call that 1 diameter. We come around a little more. That would get me to just about here. That's 2 diameters. We're going to keep going, and it would get me to just about here. That's 3 diameters. But look, it's not quite there. In fact, how many diameters does it take? 3 and a little more. Get it? 3 and a little more. It takes 3 and a little more diameters to complete the outside of a circle. This is approximately 3.14 diameters. This is the idea. This is where pi comes from. This was understood by many ancient cultures. The ancient Greeks and Romans had it. Ancient Mesoamerican mathematicians, the Aztecs and the Mayans, they had this. Ancient India, China, they all had this same circle. They had this same number. It was found in Africa as well. All over the world, in many, many human civilizations, they knew about this ratio. So if you type it into your calculator even has a pi button. If you check it out, it will give you that pi is approximately 3.14159, and then it actually keeps on going. This is an example of an irrational number. This is an important vocabulary word, and you will find it all over the GED test. Keyword here, irrational. All right. Pi is an irrational number. What is an irrational number? Irrational numbers are numbers that contain never-ending decimals that do not repeat. Pi is the most famous example of this. 3.14159, and it keeps on going with no pattern. That is called irrational. Now, I want you to contrast that with, for example, 1/3, the fraction 1/3. If you type this into your calculator, 1/3, and you can treat that as a division, every fraction is a division. 1 divided by 3, we will get the result 0.33333333, on and on and on. Now, that's a never-ending decimal, but is that rational or irrational? This is actually rational. 1/3 is rational because of the repeating pattern. Check it out. It's 0.33333. It goes on and on. Tell me, what's the next digit? Well, it's going to be 3. What's the number after that? Another 3, another 3, another 3, another 3. You know what the next digits are. Therefore, it is rational. Pi, however, 3.14159, what's the next digit? You can't tell me just by thinking about it. What's the next digit? We don't know without actually measuring the circle. It does not have a pattern. Therefore, it is irrational. Now, irrational numbers are very interesting numbers because we cannot exactly use them. We cannot just type into a calculator perfectly this number. It's going to go on forever. So we have no choice but to approximate and round off. It is universally chosen that we can just use 3.14 for pi. So think about this. Pi is a never-ending decimal that has no pattern. It is a ratio that is found in every perfect circle. If you're the type of person that wants to get spiritual about math, this is one place you can do it. Think about circles. What are circles? All right. What's a circle? The moon is a circle. The sun is a circle. The earth is a circle. Your eyeball is a circle. In all of these perfect circles, we find this never-ending ratio, 3.14159, on and on and on. There is something incredible about that in all of these things, there is a number that us as humans cannot perfectly write down. We can only approximate. And now what does that mean? It's irrational, so we can't do anything with it? No, we can do a lot with it. We choose to use this symbol, pi, to represent it. This symbol is somewhat arbitrary. This was not made up by God or the universe. This was made up by a person. This is actually one of the letters in the Greek alphabet, pi. You've heard of alpha, beta, gamma, delta. These are just letters in the Greek alphabet. We often use the Greek alphabet to stand for things when we need them in math. So somebody at some point chose pi to represent this ratio, 3.14, the distance around a circle. So for our purposes with this math, we're going to treat this like algebra. We're going to use this symbol to stand for a number. Sometimes in the GED, we just use a symbol and leave it alone. Sometimes we have to use 3.14 and calculate from there. Either way, pi is soon going to become one of your very best friends. It's one of the most interesting parts about math and is the foundation for so much. Stay tuned for the next episode where we're going to really dig into this material. We're going to be studying algebra and geometry, starting in the middle with circle formulas. Thank you.